free the nipple. Why are we like showing everyone our boobs? That's called internalized misogyny, everyone. Kind of curvature. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. This week I'm going to talk about free the nipple. Oh my goodness. This has been something I haven't really talked about in my own life that much, just because I was coming to terms with it for a while, because there was like parts of me that was like, oh my god, women's bodies are so sexualized. Why are we like showing everyone our boobs? And then, you know, the kind of more I came to terms with it, I was like, okay, actually, yeah, we're trying, the whole point is to like desexualize them and make them actually just normalized and everything. So yeah, I think I just gonna have a kind of a chat today about it and see what y'all think. Basically, I mean, for anyone that doesn't know, kind of the hashtag free the nipple movement, it's basically about how like women's breasts are like shunned and they're shamed and they're like this huge big thing, whereas like men walk around with their tops off, no bother, and it's like, what is the story with this double standard? Or it just seems to be in general that like women's breasts are just put on this pedestal. We almost look at them as like these holy grails of holiness and amazingness, but then at the same time we completely shame them. It's basically the story of every woman's life ever, just complete double standard on everything she does. And it's just so bizarre the way we think about it, and hopefully I'll kind of show the double standard as we go along. It's so weird. But I think even in general, when say like our boobs in like totally aren't out, but like I find even myself, like when I am wearing like a top, but if I'm, say, not wearing a bra, like I just don't wear bras anymore. Like I just don't have the need for them at all because my boobs are tiny and I just hate them, to be honest. Like even if your like nipple is showing like under your top, like it's seen as weird. Like it's like, what? And like men walk around no bother with like the nipple kind of pointing out of their like shirt or t-shirt or whatever, and it's grand. But then women do it and like it's so, oh my god, it makes me sick. Like I literally be in work and I'd be like walking around the place, and or just in general, and there'll literally be men just like staring at my chest, and I'm like, I see you, like what? And it's literally just because I'm not wearing a bra, so like you can see like a little bit of like pointiness, and it's like, it's just, oh my god. And like it's the fact that they think they can just stare no bother, and it's like I'm in work as well. Like you're in work, I'm in work, this is a professional environment. What makes you think, not that it's okay in any other circumstance, but it's like, what makes you think that you're allowed to do this? And it's like, I'm like a young woman and you're like an old man. So I just think it's so funny that even when your boobs literally aren't even on show, they're still shamed, or like it's half shamed and glorified at the same time, which you think is crazy, but in reality that's how it is. Then what's so interesting then as well is the whole issue of breastfeeding. I mean, oh my goodness, like breastfeeding is this normal thing. It's just, you're feeding your baby with what your boob was intended for, and we are shamed to holy hell. It's seen as this weird thing, like, oh my god, what are you doing getting your tits out? And it's like, I'm just feeding my kid. But then men love them then at the same time, when they're for the pleasure of men, like when they're on billboards and, you know, for Victoria's Secret bras, and like fucking women's tits are like sprawled across this huge like poster, and then but then God forbid that you actually use your boob for what it's intended for, which isn't for men, and then there's uproar, you know. And like what I think is so sad as well is like when women then also are like, why are you like getting your tits out? Why are you feeding your baby? And it's just so sad. It's just like, that will be you someday. Like you might have a baby someday and you might want to breastfeed, and there'll be another woman shaming you, and it's like, why are we shaming each other? It makes me so sad. That's called internalized misogyny, everyone. But yeah, it's just crazy, the double standard. And I actually have a good kind of cartoon. I'll show it right now, and it kind of just totally like encompasses the whole double standard in one cartoon. I think it's fabulous. So it's like obviously a woman just like breastfeeding and she's getting given out to, and then like right behind her is deemed to be normal and deemed to be acceptable, which it, like, I mean, fine, whatever, like, you know, about the ad, like whatever people want to do. But it's like, if the ad is acceptable, then 100% breastfeeding has to be acceptable, because that's what they're actually intended for, not, you know, for the pleasure of men. And what I think is even funnier as well is that like when you're breastfeeding, you're actual nipple is not on show, which seems to be the problem. The problem seems to be the nipple. So it's so funny that like when you're breastfeeding, the nipple is literally busy. It's busy with the baby. So it's literally not even on a show, which is so interesting. Or like when people are like, oh, cover up. Or like, you know, put a towel over the baby's head. And it's like, well, when you're eating, would you want a towel over your head? Like, no. Or like go to a toilet, like a cubicle stall and like breastfeed. It's like, would you like to eat your lunch in a cubicle stall? Like, no. It's so like isolating. Like when you're a new mother anyway, it's isolating because you're kind of going through all these, you know, physiological changes, and it's all just like, oh, what am I doing? Am I a failure? And then people are literally banishing you off to a bathroom stall to feed your baby, and it's like, oh my god, is this not like the worst thing ever? So yeah, less of that, lads, less of that. And then have to give a shout out to Instagram, which basically takes down any pictures with a nipple in it. And again, what's so funny is that like they allow photos with breasts, like women's breasts, but with the nipple like censored out. So again, it's just the nipple that they have the problem with, not the actual like breast tissue. Which is so funny because it's like, I'd almost understand it more if they were offended by the actual breast tissue, like the actual larger breasts than say what men have. But they're offended by the nipple itself, which like both men and women have. So that's what's so interesting. It's like you have no problem with the actual larger kind of curvature of the breast, but you have a problem with the nipple itself. And again, I have another cool, well not cool, it's actually quite sad, cartoon for that one. And that's this one right now. Basically, yeah, like saying there's both breast tissue on both, areola on both, nipple on both, but apparently one is deemed unacceptable and the other one is not. And it's, yeah, it's so weird. Yeah, basically, yeah, to kind of wrap the whole thing up, it's another cartoon which basically encompasses the entire thing. Jesus, Helen, you can't go on the beach like that. It's obscene. And again, you just see the complete double standard. So again, the issue is again just not that boobs are inherently bad. It's just controlling women and making sure that our breasts are used for certain purposes, like the entertainment and pleasure of men, and not what they're actually meant to be used for, things like feeding your baby or just having breasts. Just for the sake of it. Yeah, it's just about controlling women, everybody. And that's not good. So, that is this week's video. Hope I shed some kind of light. It was a bit all over the place. But, yeah, my purpose is just to normalise breasts. We all have them. They're not inherently sexual. Like, yes, yeah, I mean, they are like kind of a sexual organ, and you can... a secondary sexual organ, and some people can get like nipple orgasms, like it's hilarious, but some people don't see them as sexual objects and they shouldn't be used for that, and they should just be normalized and fine. And like, I think if you're going to sexualize one, women's, sexualize the other, and if you're not going to sexualize men's breasts, don't sexualize ours. Simple as that. So have a great week everyone, and see you in the next one. Bye. Don't forget to like my page. Bye.